I know it's been a chaotic morning. It usually is the case at IGDC on the morning of the first day of the conference. So we got, this hall is empty in the morning, but we've now got a very interesting couple of sessions that talk about different aspects of the gaming business, really. The first one is what drives global business in India. The topic is Global Capability Centers, the new innovation hubs. To tell us more, I'd like to call upon Ashutosh from MPL Ashutosh from MPL, the moderator. I'd like to call Anando Banerjee from Lakshya Digital, Mark from a consultant who's worked extensively in the space, and Dayanidhi from EA. This will be followed by another session, and then we have game design sessions.
Sleepy after lunch, I guess. No worries. I hope you're having a great time at this fabulous event, and I'm honored to take this opportunity to lead this conversation with a very esteemed panel at hand. My name is Ashutosh. I am a part of MPL. I lead partnerships and corp dev at MPL. And we are going to talk a little bit more about GCCs and what has been the journey for these gentlemen on that front so far, and what are some of the challenges that we are facing. Let's go around the table for a round of introduction. So what I would request all the panelists is to introduce themselves, about what their company does, and maybe a snippet of what GCC means for their business.
All right. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Anando Banerjee. I work with Keywords Studios. Keywords is the world's largest game services provider. That is, Keywords does not make its own games, but Keywords provides all the services that are needed to make games. Keywords has about 70 odd studios spread across 25 countries. So we are fairly large in that sense. In India, Keywords, of course, operates as Keywords, but Keywords also has other companies like Lakshya, for which I work actually, and then there is Helpshift, etc. Last year, Keywords kicked off an initiative called Destination India with the objective of moving core business systems, processes, and even production to India, because it saw India as a key production hub. And there are, of course, a lot of advantages to bringing businesses to India. Cost effectiveness is just one of them, but there is also the whole access to talent pools. And in the case of Keywords, which had like so many different studios spread across the world, there is also the need to consolidate some of these shared services out of one place. So yes, so Keywords has this initiative called Destination India, wherein we are trying to build capabilities within India to service the rest of the organization.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Mark Greenshields. I'm currently operating as a consultant to help Indian studios build into the global marketplace. Just prior to here, I was running Quali's studio down in Bangalore, where I've been working for a year. The reason I was brought out was to restructure the team, to basically bring some of the processes and understandings of how to make quality games to the global market to their Indian studio, and to which end we restructured, we brought new teams in, brought new people, and are creating a couple of very successful products there. Prior to that, I have mostly run my own businesses. I ran a company called Firebrand Games that was the premier Nintendo racing developer in the world for many years. That had offices in the UK and in the US. Before that, I ran a company called DC Studios, which was more of a sort of general developer, although it did create Disney's biggest ever Nintendo product, the original Hannah Montana. So I've been in the industry since before I left school. All I know how to do is make games and build teams of great people.
Right. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Dayanidhi. I currently head Electronic Arts here out of Hyderabad. As you know, we are one of the old and top companies on multiple platforms. Here at Hyderabad, we have an office which not only has a studio where we manage multiple mobile titles, but we also support our other studios. And we also have business units that support the global organization in terms of finance, data insights, and then player experience, and developing some deep tech products. And I believe some of you who may want to build a career in a multinational company or working for a GCC may find this session useful.
Thanks. So, what has changed over the last decade or so when we think about GCCs and the way India is perceived as a market which has this rich pool of talent? When I think I was working with GameLoft in 2010, and I recall GameLoft had a studio in Hyderabad, EA had a studio in Hyderabad, Zynga had a studio in Bangalore. So over the last 10 odd years, what is the biggest change that, in your opinion, has the market seen from an evolution point of view, from a GCC standpoint?
So just to go back a little further, so in 1985 or 87, Texas Instruments set up its R&D lab in Bangalore, and that is how this whole GCC thing kicked off. Initially, GCCs focused on building capabilities in India, or GCCs were created in India for cost advantage for the cost effectiveness of the talent here. I think within gaming itself as well, that's how GCCs were initially set up. But I think we've seen a maturing of that over the last 10 years, wherein it's no longer just for the cost, it's also to harness the talent that is here available in India, and to also build capabilities in India to supplement capabilities that are there in other countries, because in 2021, 22, I think all companies saw a situation wherein they did not have enough, at least in North America and Europe, companies struggle to hire good talent. And having a GCC goes some distance in solving that problem as well.
Yeah, I would agree with that. In the past, obviously, GCCs, as in India, I actually worked with Laksha a long time ago. And in those days, the initial perception was purely cost. We can do it cheaper. But I learned very quickly that cheap doesn't mean good, so you have to spend the effort and the time to make that work. Going on to the pandemic days, that's exactly the thing. You couldn't hire people. I mean, you're trying to hire people in the US, the UK, Europe. They were almost unemployable. They didn't want to work. They didn't want to leave. So it became more sensible. Where do we go? Where else can we get more resources of people who want to work? And India, obviously, which suffered badly during COVID as well, but was definitely a place to go. And that was part of my focus when I was brought out here, was we need more people, better people, and the talent is here. There's no doubt there's the talent, but how do we harness that talent and not just add bodies and cut costs, but increase what we can produce?
Right. Yeah, especially in the last 10 years, at least I have been with two companies running the offshore centers that can be called as GCCs. Companies always look, of course, for the cost arbitrage that comes when they come to a location like Bangalore. But it is also the ability in the talent to adopt to something new in terms of either technology or processes, and sync up with the rest of the organization and deliver, which is where I think India scores well. And when it comes to delivery that requires both fidelity and velocity, I think Indian workforce has really done well, which is why when a location like India ticks most of the check boxes, it becomes a go-to destination. And yeah, I think what really lacks from a gaming perspective is that we haven't really built a game that has global recognition. Of course, our friends at Greenshields have built Ludo King, but I think something that really gives India an image has to come out of the companies, gaming companies here, and most of the gaming companies also expect the Indian outfits to do some work that can, match the image that we carry, as the talent pool here.
Thanks. So, going a little deeper on that, do you think that while there is obviously a ton of qualified resources, and even from a localization point of view, India is almost an outlier in APAC, being a market which has English as the first formal language compared to, Southeast Asia or China, where that's not the case. But do you think that innovation and design are probably two areas where we haven't yet found our, foot on the ground, and we were still pretty much, we are good at coding, we are good at processing, we are good at getting things through a system. But when it comes to creative thinking, and probably, do you think that ties into the fact that why, from a market metrics point of view, India is so heavily biased for import developers compared to Indian partners?
Yeah, I think that's always been the problem. The perception for the rest of the world is India was a services place. You could go to India, you could get a lot of people, they would do the work that you tell them to do. And that was the perception. You had to tell once, twice, but then you would get what you want. Obviously, that doesn't create original games. It doesn't create major franchises. That comes out from passion, from ingenuity, and teams that have the room and the confidence to actually create something. And that's what I found when I was building the team. It took longer to hire those people in India than it does elsewhere, because maybe it's a confidence that people have never been allowed to express their ability and their confidence rather than what they've actually delivered in the past. So for me, it's the talent was there, the ability was there, but you had to, I'll use a Western phrase, cut through the wheat to get the chaff. You had to find who had the talent and nurture that talent and build a team from there. And it didn't take long. I mean, we went from nothing to 6 months where we've got a product in development, Quali, which obviously I cannot tell anything about other than we think it could be really successful. It was built in Bangalore, it was designed in Bangalore by Indians. I was the only non-Indian there, but I don't build teams around me, I build teams around people, I nurture them. And that's what I think has been lacking in India, is the drive. How do you change them from a service mentality and we will do what you want to, this is what we believe and this is why?
When it comes to innovation, definitely India has to build its image, contributing to the world, especially the parent organizations out of the GCCs that we have here. The perception is definitely changing. I see that momentum in my own company and in few of the friends' companies that I'm talking to. Indian GCs have been given responsibilities to build something new that becomes helpful to the organization, something that looks disruptive. There is great level of confidence, and as Mark just pointed out, we have to come out of the service mentality, become completely well-rounded teams ourselves, where we develop the capability from ideation to delivery. And I think we are well on our way to get there. And probably in the coming next 4 to 5 years, we will see lots of innovations coming out.
Just to add on to what Dayan and Mark said, I think there needs to be a change or shift in our education system as well. There isn't enough design-related education at our school and college levels. What is there is also, barring maybe the NIDs, the premier institutes, it's not of a very good quality. So we don't have enough good trained people in design and design thinking. That's one. The other is also something that I think Mark touched upon. We need one big hit out of India. One big Black Myth Wukong kind of title, which will give us the confidence that, hey, we can do that. If there is that one Indian company that can do that, we can do that. I think we lack in confidence, and the raw skills are there. Getting that skill trained to think in a particular way, yes, that's where some amount of mentorship, etc., is required. But yeah, the other problem is, of course, our confidence. We are not confident about doing it because we've not been allowed to do it, or we've not done it ourselves.
You're so right on design. Sorry.
You please go ahead.
Because that was the hardest role to find, was a really good game designer with the confidence and the skills. I wouldn't say it's impossible, because we did find it, but it was by far the hardest. And I've heard that from a lot of people. So it's having the confidence, but also mentoring, giving people the room to have that confidence that your ideas matter, you can do something.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I just came from a meeting where we were meeting some government officials, and as GDAI, the body that is going to be responsible for IGDC, we were actually representing the gaming industry and talking to him about what our top priorities are. And just to add to Anando's point, a country like India needs talent that is coming out of the academia, and we highlighted to the officials here that we need something like an Indian Institute of Game Development. I mean, on par with the IITs and IIMs. Imagine some of the top-notch guys who have loved playing games, have grown up playing some of the popular games, have always dreamt of building something of their own. And if there is going to be a top-notch institution like Indian Institute of Game Development, which, let's say, produces a couple of hundreds to start with and then grows in numbers, that is going to be really a big boon to the gaming industry.
Just to add further on to what Daya said, and we can all play a role in this, all of us here. I think the problem is that a course that people do after completing schooling may sometimes be a little late. People make up their minds in high school what they're going to do subsequently. Very few bright kids make a clear decision while in school that I'll get into game development. They think of going to the IITs, they think of becoming engineers, doctors, etc. Very few of them think of becoming game developers. We need to change that. We need to talk to them while they're in school, tell them about the opportunities that exist, and what a fun career opportunity this is. If you're at the right place, there's never a dull day. Monday mornings, I get out of bed happily. I don't get out of bed thinking, oh no, another week. That's because of the business we work in. How many other businesses kind of give you that kind of satisfaction over a 20, 30, 40-year period? I've been in this industry for 27 years. Never a dull moment. Never have I thought that, oh, I should have done something else. Right? So we need to kind of talk to these school kids, tell them about, this is a fun career option and this is also a lucrative career option. So do think about this, do consider this. And then we need institutions like that where, once they finish their schooling, they make a conscious choice. No, I don't want to go to NID, I want to go to the Indian School of Game Development. And then we will have that crop of good designers. There are no design schools in India, game design schools. NID doesn't teach game design. You have a couple of private institutes teaching game design. I don't know how good they are, but they teach 15 kids a year, 20 kids a year. That's totally, inadequate. The bulk of game designers in India are self-taught.
No, those are all very valid points. I think I recall that when I was studying at school, I was not given the option of choosing what I want to study. I wanted to study literature. I was pushed into engineering. I struggled through it, but eventually I was probably one of the very few lucky people who was able to pivot my career towards gaming, because gaming was an innate passion. But was there any external support? There was none. I was on my own. Now things are changing. So I'm happy to say and to share this, that my nephew, who's just started working, 3 years ago I saw him sketching something. And I said, is this something you love? And he said, yes. I said, you should pursue this full time. I'm glad that he took that advice seriously and is now working with a game design company. So things are changing, and changing gears, I think there's also some bit of external acceleration towards getting this momentum going. You know, things like Geo coming in with the data, UPI payments happening at the right time. What do you think is going to be the next big catalyst towards, you know, the gear from moving from gear 2 to gear 3 before we reach gear 4? From an Indian gaming economy point of view, do you have any top of mind things? Do you think that's the one big thing which we are going to land from a gaming point of view?
I do believe that skilling is a very big one, by the way. I do believe that we have a lot of raw talent in the country, but that talent needs mentoring. That talent needs good training. And without the mentoring, without that talent, without the requisite training, we will 5 years down the line, we'll still have the same conversation, right? So if you want to make that jump, we need many more well-trained people coming into the system. And we need to figure out how to make that happen. That will be a game changer for us, I think.
Yeah, completely agree. I think, obviously, once we get a major product that comes created in India for the world that becomes a major success, that will be a catalyst, because people will go, oh, we can do that. But it is about mentoring. It's about having the right people with the experience, the knowledge, probably from overseas, or maybe Indians coming back, to teach and mentor people so that their skills grow and they go, we can, not only can we do this, we can do it better. Because one of the things that I found working in India versus the West, because I've been in games since, well, I won't admit how many years, but it's many, many decades, hence the lack of hair. But the passion that you used to get in the West, where people, you woke up, you wanted to build games, you go to bed late at night because that's all you wanted to do. That was my problem. You know, I just wanted to build games. I discovered computers at 15 and went, this is cool, I want to do this. And I've never done anything since. You know, when people have that passion, they take it to the next level, and I think it's bringing that knowledge, letting people know it not only is it a career, it's a way of life. It's something you will want to do. You'll want to go to work, you'll want to enjoy it, and you can be successful in it. It's a cultural change. It's not actually that big, but it will require people who've done it, who know how to do it, and can not only give the confidence to people to do it, but have potentially the power is the wrong word, but maybe their employer or whatever has given them, this is what we want you, and we will give you the time and the resources to build your team to make it successful. That's where it'll grow from.
I think as of now, a lot of the barriers that existed for the gaming sector to grow, expand, have been mostly cleared. I mean, be it data connectivity or payment mechanisms are all sorted. It is just that our gaming community has to start paying. Like we saw the evolution in the West. We have all grown up watching movies where we paid below 100 rupees to go and watch a movie. But today it has gone up to close to 1,000 rupees to go to a reasonably good theater and watch. But is it the same with gaming? Still we see a lot of gamers still grinding constantly, watching ads. And my theory here is that the generation that actually saw smartphones, they had access to smartphones, unlike most of us growing up. I've always had curiosity to enjoy the entertainment through gaming by spending, and probably they have still not reached that phase where they are earning and ready to spend. Probably when they are employed and they start earning, I hope that generation is actually going to change the whole scenario for India. Otherwise, I believe all the other barriers have been cleared.
Just to go back to the skilling point, and this is where GCCs come in really. So with a GCC, you can have someone like Mark work with a team in India, Mark with all his experience, work with the team in India and mentor that team through. And then get to a point where Mark can take a step aside and have that team move on. So GCCs enable you to do that. take talented, experienced developers in the West, because we don't have enough talented, experienced developers in India, and have them work with Indian talent to bring the level of the Indian talent up to the point where they can make games that compete, compete well with any product that's made in the US or the UK.
No, I think that definitely carries a lot of weight, and I feel that it's our shared responsibility. When I say our, I don't mean just the four of us on stage, I mean every one of you, everyone here in attendance. We are the people who are closer to the gaming ecosystem compared to the rest of the market. It is on to us to make sure that we share this passion, we share this knowledge, we share this ambition and aspiration as a market to rise up the ranks and change our perception and really break the molds and become more innovative and reach far, far ahead of where we are today from a gaming, powerhouse, GCC, or even, even otherwise. I think we are probably on time. Maybe 10 more minutes and we can open the stage for any live questions. Anyone wants to ask anything?
Okay. So one problem that I wanted to talk about is talent, hiring of talent and retention of talent. And I'll give you two examples. We recently recruited someone in India for our Australian sister studio because they want to build a team in India. We went through the hiring process, and if there are any talent acquisition people here, they'll know what's coming. One day before he was supposed to join, the guy backs out. One day before. And my Australian team is flabbergasted. How can that happen? Well, that happens all the time here. So that's a problem we need to solve. Because demand is far in excess of supply as far as quality people are concerned. Quality people can pick and choose, and they're abusing their power there. The other is about retention of talent, and retention of talent is equally difficult. And there I think companies need to step up. If you have a good guy, pay him what he deserves. Don't wait for a competitor to come and make him an offer and then you up your offer. Right? So I think there is a lot of movement of talent happening within our industry, which is damn good, I think, which means that, we are trying to search out good talents amongst ourselves. But yeah, if you're looking to build a GCC in India, you need key people at, key talent at good positions, and you want them to stay there for some period of time for continuity. And you can't have people moving out in 6 months. So those are problems we need to solve, I think. Any other problems that you guys think?
No, I'm very glad you said that, because that was one of my biggest discoveries I found, is hiring people. I mean, I've had a similar experience when I worked in Montreal. Before Ubisoft actually started creating anything halfway decent there, it was easy to hire, and they stayed. The minute they started being good, it was just like everybody was moving out. Thursday, they'd come in the office and say, "Oh, see, I'm starting a new job." "Oh, okay, that's a shame. When?" "Oh, tomorrow morning at Ubisoft." "What?" And I've noticed the similar thing was here. Well, it's a lack of loyalty, but one thing I think a lot of people need to understand, and you hit on that, loyalty goes both ways. When you hire someone, pay them what they deserve, make sure you help them grow in their career, give them pay rises that they due before they've just thought, "Hey, I'm not being valued here and I'm going to leave elsewhere." It's much easier to keep a good person and grow their skills than to hire a new one. And that's something that I feel a lot of companies, obviously I don't have a huge number of experiences in India with companies, but that lack of understanding that you need to keep the best talent as well as get it. Without that, you will never grow into beyond the service. It has to be, loyalty goes both ways, so build that and you will succeed.
Absolutely. I think even GCCs become successful like any other homegrown company when the talent is retained. There is loyalty, commitment by individuals to work with the company for a little longer period. I've been myself 3 times GM of different companies and 3 times entrepreneur, and I've seen the shortest cycles and long cycles as well. And I can say with confidence that when you are associated with a fairly bigger company, it goes through its own transition, growth. So each phase actually offers, a huge opportunity. So in my company, I know people who have spent 20 plus years, a lot of them, and what they say is like it's almost equivalent to working for 4 different companies, because every 4 or 5 years we saw some kind of change coming. We had to adopt to the new technology and all that. So and from the company's point of view, it's very important to retain the institutional knowledge that gets built, that becomes really, really valuable. And I totally agree on the retention challenge faced. And then particularly the point you mentioned, Anando, we keep facing that frequently with people not showing up. And I think that's a culture that needs to change. People have to really understand that, we are also impacting the image of the country, actually.
No, I think what Mark said makes a ton of sense. Loyalty goes both ways. If you show them that you care for them and you trust them and you appreciate their talent, they'll go a long way. Any questions from the live audience? Otherwise, we can have a final parting thought and give some time back, maybe. Yes? I don't think we have mics. You'll have to... There's no mic, I guess.
There's one.
I think this question is to the rest of the panel members because I and Dayanidhi work for EA. So I am from talent acquisition and I'm pretty much familiar with the challenge that you had mentioned, Ananda. My question to the leaders here is on the diversity representation in your respective organizations. Are there any specific initiatives or anything that you can share that are, focused efforts towards bringing in diverse representation?
All right, I'll take a go. So we run our own training institute. We run our own training institute because we don't get enough, because the people we get from the market, so to speak, people are sometimes not good enough for us. We need to retrain them. We at one point found that we were training people for up to 1 year before we could put them onto the floor. So we started our own institute. Now within the institute, we actually run women-specific batches as well, which we say, okay, we are running this training batch just for women, and usually 90% of the people who graduate out are hired by us. So we run, in order to increase the participation of women, we run programs like that. We are starting a program in January. It's an internship program wherein we'll pay people money to do the course. And this is for women who took a career break for some reason and who want to come back into the workforce. This is in project management. They need not have done project management before. So this is an opportunity again for them to re-engage with the workforce, get back into the workforce, maybe pick up a skill that they did not have previously. We also have accelerated development programs for women employees, which is we identify people, women, especially women employees with higher potential, and we have someone who is appoint someone as a mentor for them. And it's the mentor's responsibility to kind of guide their growth and help them maybe overcome some of the challenges that might be there. So these are some programs that we are running at Keywords India.
Thank you. Any other thoughts on this question?
No, that was my colleague asking. So do you have any insights on how to bring diversity into the workforce?
Mainly don't exclude people, just because somebody is different, whether that's sex or gender or color or anything else, doesn't mean, or junior or senior, don't exclude people's ideas. And honestly, that's been a problem in the industry, not just in India, but everywhere, where, well, I know what I'm doing, just do it my way. Every person has value, bring that out, because you never know when the star is going to appear. So just have an open mind and nurture that.
Very well said, Mark, very well said.
Thank you. Another question?
Yeah. Yes, sir. Good afternoon. I am Dr. Venkat Shastri from SRM University, Chennai, one of the
From?
largest SRM University, Chennai.
SRM University.
One of the largest multidisciplinary university. We have around 1 lakh plus students pursuing various courses across the country. We have campuses. The biggest challenge we face is whatever you've discussed is very apt, and I could see that. But as a corporate who are leading this pack, what are the specific initiatives you are taking up to ensure that we produce that industry relevant students who excel in their career? And again, after putting that, the second step is making us industry relevant curriculum, making industry relevant course itself, and excel in that. What are your suggestions on that?
So at Keywords, we are open to partnering with any private or public university or institute in helping them refine their curriculum, train their trainers, help them with evaluations, and we are doing this in partnership with some institutes. We actually run a 3-year degree program on behalf of a women's university in Hyderabad itself, because the university came to us and said, we are unable to find the right partners to deliver this program. So we are doing that. So we are open to partnering with anyone who will come and talk to us. The government of India is talking to us as well to help them run programs. But your university, we are happy to talk to you. We are happy to help you. Do connect with me. We are in conversation with other universities as well. We want to see private institutes and universities come and talk to us. Where this tends to fall apart is that we usually say that you need to have an entry criteria. The entry criteria can't be that this person can pay the entry fees. If you're taking someone into art, they need to have some artistic capability, right? And that's where it tends to come apart, because most private universities or institutes, I understand that it's a business for them. They need to fill a certain number of seats, and this is something that they find difficult to agree to. But from Keywords, I can tell you that we are happy and open to collaborating with any private university or public university or government that wants to talk to us. We are talking, like I said, talking to the central government. We are talking to various state governments to run programs for them, and we are happy to talk to your university as well.
I thought I asked a question, but you gave me a target. Now I should follow up with you.
Okay.
Sir has mentioned we have separate BTech in gaming technology. Nowhere in India, only 2 universities have. One is SRM and VIT. We have specialized in gaming technology, specific for game developers alone, in 4 years degree program. But as Sir said, we are ready to modify the curriculum based on industry ready. We are ready to collaborate and do some of the electives or even the courses related to industry needs.
That's excellent. That's excellent. Because you need to be that open-minded.
Yeah, that's what the universities are open to collaborate and do all the curriculum based on industry needs. We are moving on this also.
Yeah, while on the engineering front, the challenge is a little lesser, but where the industry faces challenge as of now is in the design space. So that is where, as the panel was mentioning, we do not have formal institutes that are offering game design courses. But as you can imagine, a game's future, or rather its chances of becoming successful, largely depends on the design capabilities. And that's where right now India needs to see some really good concentration of talent coming out in that space.
Yeah, I think one of the things I found in the past is getting developers or publishers involved with universities, so that almost as part of the course, so that they're learning on the job, so to speak, as well as learning theory, because theory is all very well, but it doesn't give you the edge. And as he said earlier on, the paid universities, there's one in Florida, I'm not going to name them, but the number of people that used to come from there that had obviously paid a lot of money to get a degree, they had an art degree, and their artistic skills were worse than mine, and I cannot draw. So, you need the talent, you need the nurture, but I think you need the cross-pollination between the education and, I'll call it industry, or the games, so that they understand there's more to it than just what you learn. There's there's that unknown that only comes from working with other people.
Thank you. Yes.
Hi. Daljit this side from 6 July Design Studios. We've been in this since past 6 years, and fairly recently, 2.5 years ago, we started game design and development. I am sure you've touched all of these topics, but the way I want to put it is from a business standpoint. One of the trends or the culture or the standpoint of Western countries or countries where we export our services is that over the course of years, I'm sure it is of our own fault or companies in India's, where we have set a standard that we are good at replicating work rather than coming up with our own creative thoughts. And most of the time when we engage with services, what the clients tend to ask us is of, hey, you know what, just look at this provider, they have this game, replicate and give us an output. Do your own concepts in the assets, etc., but don't change the logic or don't bring anything innovative. And we've tried to push through ourselves in terms of saying, hey, look, we have that talent to come up with some creative thoughts, but in the interest of time and money, we are kind of discouraged. Do you see that this trend is going to fade in some time soon, or do you think we have to make external tides to kind of change this thought process, change the culture, or the thought that, in India, it's good for rapid design and development, you just get work done and that's it? How do we go about it?
So I think we touched upon that, and the key problem there is that India is not known for being strong in design, and we need to prove ourselves there. And we can prove ourselves in two ways. One, make games that are hits in international markets, not just in India, not just in little pockets, not just in one Latin American country, but big hits that happen. And then people recognize us for being able to do our own games, not clones of games. That's one. The second is the fight that you guys are fighting. Right now, maybe there are 5 Indian companies that are trying to do that. The day there are 50 Indian companies trying to do that, at least some of them will start succeeding. So keep fighting. Don't give up. I think you guys are on the right track, but we need to do what you guys are doing, but we need to also get those big hits out in the market so that we are recognized for our design prowess.
Yeah, I think we covered that.
Yeah. No, I was just going to give a short answer that from business standpoint, there's nothing wrong in being a Zomato or an Ola because the market needs it. Right? It may look like you're replicating something that has worked in the West or other countries, other markets. But if your market requires something like that, I think you should go for it, because at the end of it, what makes sense is how successful you are in the business.
Cool. Maybe we can have one last question. Guy there. Yeah.
Hi, sir.
Hello.
Though I'm not interested in gaming department, but I have a small question. Suppose I'm a game designer and I want to make something, create some different game with my friends and team, and we'd like to start a company. So how could we grow up the company and our game and promote to the gamers?
You'll need okay, so that's a very, even though that's a small question, that's a very complex question with a very, very, very lengthy answer because it touches upon a lot of different things: building the right team, getting the right experience, blah, 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 product development, learning about product development, learning about user acquisition, etc., etc. But so my suggestion to you would be that attend IGDC seriously for a few years, learn on the side, make some mistakes, make some products, get it into the market and learn from that. What worked, what did not work. And that's how, if you think, a lot of people come into this line thinking, oh, I'll make as my first attempt, we'll make GTA. Hell no, it's not going to happen. Get real. Start small, make small games, become successful, make bigger games, achieve success there, and then maybe 15, 20 years down the road when you have 30 other people around you, even 30 is not enough. For GTA has hundreds of people, and there I can probably tell you how many people each big EA title has. But you need hundreds of good people, really competent, experienced people to build titles like that. So I think we need to be a little realistic also about what we want to build, right? Wanting to build the next GTA, absolutely, great idea, but know that that's not going to happen for you maybe for the next 20 years, 30 years. Sorry, you guys want to take that up?
Yeah. No, my only quick suggestion is make sure that you have a well-rounded team that covers all the functional aspects, and you also build some muscle experience in terms of, executing and delivering. Just to give you an analogy, if you are a movie buff, it doesn't mean you can make a new movie altogether, right? So you really need to learn all the integrated functions that are required to make a movie. Similarly, gaming is even more complex. It has lots of technology involved. Best of luck, and you definitely can do it if you plan your next steps appropriately.
Yeah, definitely. One of the things you really need to do is, if you're working in a team, you probably need to do stuff external to that in your own time, because a lot of it's about passion, it's about growing your experience. And if you're working on a project and you're able to come up with some new little part of it that's unique, that's original, that gets people excited, that's a good way to grow, because then you start showing people, hey, I've got something. I'm not just a worker, for want of a better description. I have something, my team has something, and we can build from there. So it doesn't happen overnight, but keep working at it, because eventually you get there.
Thank you, everyone. Trust me, there's no magic wand to get this. Otherwise, all of us would be our jobs. No, but follow your passion. There are a ton of great development studios, Hyderabad, Bangalore. Write to the founders. Write to the founders. Say you're interested in understanding and contributing. Do freelancing. Understand how things work. Take small steps. It is not going to happen overnight, but if you have the right passion and motivation, you'll get there. Cool. With that, I think it's time to wind up. Thank you, everyone. This was great. I think my takeaway is that as a market, we are moving in the right direction. We have the right energy. We have the right aspiration. And with every successive IGDC, we'll have more and more success stories to celebrate. Thank you, everyone. Have a great event.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.